There's a specific sound that money makes when you don't have it. It's not the crinkle of a bill or the clink of a coin. It's the silence. It's the pause when the card gets declined at the grocery store. Or the quiet way my mom would say, "Actually, I'm not hungry," so my brother and I could have the last of the takeout. I'm Aiden. I grew up in that silence. Welcome to Aiden's Money Psychology. If you've ever felt like money is more about emotions than math, you're in the right place. Today we're talking about the scarcity mindset, how growing up poor shapes the way you handle money as an adult, even when you're not poor anymore. Part 1. The silence. And now, as an adult with a steady paycheck, I realize my brain never learned to turn the volume off. I make good money now, like really good money. Enough that past me would look at present me and say, "Dude, you made it, you're rich." But here's the thing. I don't feel rich. I feel nervous all the time. I still flinch at the total when I'm checking out, even when it's exactly what I expected. I still hoard half-empty shampoo bottles, combining them when they get low like I'm mixing potions in an apocalypse. And I feel this knot of dread in my stomach whenever my bank account hits a certain number. Any number, honestly. Could be $200, could be $2,000. That knot doesn't care. This isn't a story about being bad with money. It's not a lecture about budgeting apps or investing tips. It's about how your past writes the code for your financial future, whether you like it or not. And if you grew up anything like me, that code is running in the background right now, affecting every purchase, every savings decision, every sleepless night at 3 a.m. when you do the math in your head over and over again. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the scarcity mindset. Part 2. The rules we learned. When you grow up poor, you don't learn financial literacy. You learn survival. Nobody sat me down and explained compound interest. Nobody taught me how to balance a checkbook. What I learned was way more powerful than any textbook lesson. I learned the rules. Rule number 1. There is never enough. Doesn't matter what it is. Food, money, patience, time. The answer is always the same. We're running low. Stretch it. Make it last. Don't get too comfortable, because comfort is expensive. Rule number 2. Wanting things is dangerous. I learned this one early. Wanting something meant setting yourself up for disappointment. Birthdays and Christmas were the worst, because hope would creep in. Maybe this year? Maybe they got it? And then you'd open the package and it was socks. Or a board game from a garage sale with 2 pieces missing. And you'd smile and say thank you, because the worst thing you could be was ungrateful. Ungrateful meant you didn't understand how hard things were. Ungrateful meant you were part of the problem. Rule number 3. Today matters more than tomorrow. Tomorrow is a luxury. Tomorrow is for people who know where their next meal is coming from. When you're poor, you live in the now. You take the money today because tomorrow might not come. You buy the cheap shoes that'll fall apart in 3 months because rent is due Friday, and you can't afford the good ones. I didn't know I was learning these rules. I thought I was just living, being a kid. But those rules, they got etched into my brain like commandments. And 20 years later, I'm still following them. Part 3. The scarcity mindset in action. Let me give you an example from my actual life. Last week, I was at the grocery store. Nothing fancy, just picking up stuff for the week. I grab a bag of coffee, $12.99, and I stand there, just standing, holding this bag of coffee like it's a major life decision. My brain starts doing the math. $12.99. That's almost $13. For coffee, I could buy the store brand for $6. It's not as good, but it's coffee. It does the job. Why am I even considering the expensive one? And here's where it gets weird. I can afford the coffee. I have more than enough money in my account. I've got a good job, no credit card debt, rent is paid. Objectively, financially, I can buy the $12.99 coffee without thinking twice. But my brain doesn't care about objectivity, and my brain is still running survival mode. And survival mode says, $12.99 is too much, put it back, get the cheap one. What's wrong with you, wasting money like that? So I put it back, I get the cheap one, and I feel relieved, like I dodged a bullet. But then, later that same day, I'm out with friends. Someone suggests we go to this new cocktail bar. And suddenly, survival mode shuts off. Abundance mode kicks in. And abundance mode says, you need to prove you belong here. You need to show these people you're not still that kid. Buy a round. Buy 2 rounds. Be generous. Be the guy. who picks up the tab. And I do. I dropped $60 on drinks without blinking. Drinks I didn't even really want. And I walk home feeling confused, because how can I be the guy who agonizes over coffee but throws money at a bar like it's nothing? That's the scarcity mindset. It's not consistent, it's not logical, it's emotional. It's two halves of the same wounded coin. One half is terrified of losing everything. The other half is desperate to prove you're not still living in that fear. Part 4. The 4 Faces of Scarcity. Over the years, I've noticed that the scarcity mindset shows up in 4 main ways. See if any of these sound familiar. 1. The hoarder. This is me with the shampoo bottles. This is keeping clothes you haven't worn in 5 years just in case. This is filling your freezer with food you'll never eat because it was on sale and you couldn't let the deal pass. The hoarder thinks, if I have enough stuff, I'll never be without. But here's the truth I had to learn. The stuff becomes a prison. You're not protecting yourself. You're just surrounding yourself with reminders of what you're afraid of. 2. The avoider. This is not opening your bank app. This is letting bills autopay without ever looking at the statement. This is knowing you should check your credit score but feeling like you're going to throw up every time you try. The avoider thinks, if I don't look at it, the bad news can't find me. But the bad news always finds you. It just finds you later, when it's bigger. 3. The splurger. This is me at the cocktail bar. This is buying things you don't need just to feel normal for 5 minutes. This is treating yourself because you had a hard day and a hard week and a hard life, honestly, and don't you deserve something nice for once? The splurger thinks, this feeling of abundance might disappear any second, so I better enjoy it now. And that's the trap. You're not enjoying it. You're grasping at it. There's a difference. 4. The imposter. This is the worst one. This is sitting in your nice apartment with your nice job and your nice things, waiting for someone to tap you on the shoulder and say, excuse me, there's been a mistake. You don't belong here. The imposter thinks, I'm not really safe. I'm just pretending. And eventually, everyone will find out. These 4 faces, they're not character flaws. They're survival strategies that outlived their usefulness. They kept us safe once. But now they're just keeping us stuck. And here's what took me years to understand. You can't just decide to stop being them. You can't wake up one morning and say, today I choose abundance. That's not how brains work. The change has to be slower, more intentional, more practiced. Hey, if you're relating to any of this, and I have a feeling some of you are, take a second to hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that conversations like this matter. And if you want to go deeper on money psychology, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Also, drop a comment. Which of the 4 faces hit closest to home for you? Hoarder, avoider, splurger, or imposter? I read these, and I'd love to know I'm not alone in this. Part 5. What actually started to help? I want to tell you about the things that actually started to shift things for me. Not quick fixes. Not 5 steps to financial freedom. Just practices, experiments. Some worked, some didn't, but all of them taught me something. The first thing, I stopped trying to fix the feeling. For years, when I felt that scarcity panic, that knot in my stomach, that voice telling me I was about to lose everything, I would try to make it go away. I'd check my bank account 5 times. I'd move money between savings and checking. I'd calculate and recalculate. I'd try to think my way out of a feeling. And it never worked. Because here's the thing about feelings. They don't respond to logic. You can't argue with a panic attack. You can't reason your way out of a knot in your stomach. The feeling isn't asking for a solution. It's asking to be felt. So I started doing something different. When the panic came, I'd just sit with it. I'd put my hand on my stomach. I'd breathe. I'd say to myself, I notice I'm feeling scared about money right now. That makes sense. I have reasons to feel this way. This feeling is allowed to be here. And you know what happened? The feeling usually passed faster than when I tried to fight it. Because feelings are like guests. If you try to kick them out, they dig in. If you let them sit down and have a cup of tea, they usually leave on their own. The second thing, I started asking, is this true? This one came from a therapist, actually. She said when you feel that scarcity panic, don't fight it. Just ask one question. Is this true? Right now, in this moment, is it true that you don't have enough? And I'd have to stop and actually look. Not at my fear, at my reality. Right now, in this moment, do I have food in the kitchen? Yes. Do I have money in the bank? Yes. Is rent paid? Yes. Am I warm? Safe? Okay. The answer was almost always yes. The fear was about yesterday or about tomorrow. But today? Today I was okay. That question, is this true, became a kind of anchor. It didn't make the fear disappear, but it stopped me from believing the fear story without checking the facts. The third thing, I created a scarcity emergency kit. This sounds silly, but hear me out. I made a list, a physical list, on my phone, of things that are true when my brain lies to me. It says things like, you have $X in your emergency fund. You have people who would help you if things got bad. You have survived every hard thing that's ever happened to you. You are not that kid anymore. When the panic hits, I read the list. Not because I don't know these things, but because when scarcity brain takes over, I forget. The list reminds me. It's like a note from a friend I trust, handed to me in the middle of a storm. The fourth thing, I started practicing enough in tiny ways. Remember the coffee? For months, I kept buying the cheap coffee. Not because I had to, because I was practicing something. I'd stand in the aisle and feel the pull toward the expensive one. And instead of giving in or fighting it, I'd just notice it. I'd say, I see you, scarcity brain. You want me to buy the nice thing to prove I'm okay. Or you want me to buy the cheap thing to stay safe. Both of those are about fear. So today, I'm just going to buy the coffee I actually want. Not because I'm proving anything, just because I want it. And then I'd buy the $12.99 coffee, and I'd drive home. And the world didn't end. Tiny exposures, tiny moments of sitting with the discomfort of enough. Over time, they added up. The fifth thing, I separated poor planning from trauma response. This was huge. For years, I thought every money mistake I made was because I was bad at money. But that's not true. When I avoid looking at my bank account, that's not poor planning. That's a trauma response. My brain learned that looking meant seeing bad news, so it protects me by looking away. When I hoard things, that's not being organized. That's a trauma response. My brain learned that having extra stuff meant safety, so it collects. When I splurge on drinks, that's not being irresponsible. That's a trauma response. My brain learned that belonging meant spending, so it spends to belong. Once I saw the difference, I stopped shaming myself. And when the shame lifted, I could actually start to address the real problem, not the behavior, the wound behind it. The sixth thing, I found my people. This one might be the most important. For years, I thought I was the only one who felt this way. I thought my relationship with money was broken in a way that other people's wasn't, so I never talked about it. Then one night, at a dinner with friends, someone mentioned they still get anxious when their partner goes to the grocery store alone. And someone else said they keep a secret stash of cash in their closet just in case. And someone else said they've never once used their vacation days because taking time off feels like asking to be fired. And I sat there listening, realizing, I'm not alone, I'm not broken. I'm just part of a whole generation of people who grew up in the silence and are now trying to find their way out. Talking about it didn't fix everything. But it broke the isolation. And that isolation, that's where the scarcity mindset thrives. In the dark. In the quiet. In the belief that you're the only one. Part 6. Where I am now. I'm not cured. I don't think cured is even the right word. This isn't an illness, it's a history. And history doesn't go away, it just gets integrated. Some days I still stand in the grocery aisle, paralyzed by coffee. Some days I still buy rounds at the bar to prove I belong. Some days I still wake up at 3 a.m. convinced that any minute now, it's all going to be taken away. But here's what's different. Those days are fewer. They're quieter. They don't own me the way they used to. I've learned that the goal isn't to never feel scarcity. The goal is to feel it and not let it drive. To notice the fear and say, I see you. You can come along. But you're not driving today. I've learned that healing isn't linear. It's not a straight line from broken to fixed. It's more like a spiral. You think you've moved past something, and then it shows up again, just when you least expect it. But each time it comes, you're a little stronger, a little wiser, a little more practiced at meeting it with compassion instead of fear. And I've learned that the opposite of scarcity isn't abundance. The opposite of scarcity is enough. Not more, not endless. Just enough. Enough for today. Enough for this moment. Enough to breathe. Part 7. A new sound. So here's where I'll leave you. Remember that sound I started with? The silence of not having enough? I'm learning that money can make other sounds too. The click of a keyboard when you pay a bill online, and it's fine. The crinkle of a bag when you buy something you actually wanted. The sound of your own voice saying, "I've got this," and meaning it. These sounds are quiet too. But they're different. They're not silence. They're peace. And here's the thing I want you to take with you. You get to make those sounds too. Not someday. Not when you have more money. Not when you're finally fixed. Right now. Today. In the tiny moments where you choose to meet your fear with curiosity instead of shame. You're not broken. You're not alone. And the silence you grew up in? It doesn't have to be the only sound you know. I'm Aiden. Thanks for listening. If this hit home for you, I'd love to hear your story. Share it with someone today. Break the silence. You might be surprised how many people are listening for the same thing. Thank you so much for watching. If this video meant something to you, please hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started on this journey together. And I'll see you in the next one.